So, Better Call Saul, Breaking Bad. I'm going to let you start because I, again, have very little experience with the shows, but I want to hear your take on. Let's start with Breaking Bad. So spoilers are ahead, but I want to hear.
No, I'm not gonna spoil anything. Actually,
Okay, cool.
I will talk exclusively unspoilery for the first time in this podcast so far.
I mean, I guess I haven't seen it, so I appreciate that, but maybe I should also be ashamed of myself. Who's to say?
Yeah, because I mean, this show was huge, early 2010s.
Yeah.
When it was on, and then I remember people in high school talking about it a lot, and I just didn't care because it wasn't Metallica,
right?
So
it wasn't
obviously lame.
It wasn't heavy metal or just Metallica. I think was your whole thing.
Yeah. So I actually started watching it in 2018 because a little channel called Cinemassacre put out a video talking about Breaking Bad.
Shout out James.
I believe it was like April or May or something in 2018.
Yeah.
And he basically said, like, he was in the same boat. He heard all the hype about it, and then he gave it a shot, and then he was hooked. And then he was like, yeah, this is actually one of the best shows I've ever seen.
That's high praise.
And so I was like, all right, I'll give it a shot. So I watched it.
You want a Tootsie Pop?
No, I'm good. And then, yeah. I in full agreement. I think it is. Not that I've seen a lot of like shows, but as far as live action like drama series goes, yeah, number one.
So what about it makes it so good? Like, without getting into spoilers, obviously.
Just the writing, the writing and the characters and the shots. Like, yo, anyone who's seen it, like, crawl space. And you know exactly what I'm talking about. Like, yo, just from the titles alone, like, all the fans out there, half full measures. We got Box Cutter, Fly, Granite State, Ozymandias. What's the Felina?
I was gonna say, don't ask me because I
dude, you just like. I just think anyone hearing, like, there's those prime episodes of Breaking Bad, and that was a lot of them. But yeah, I actually, I remember finishing it when I was visiting my friend Jason in California.
Shout out Jason.
Which was in July 2018. So I cleared through it in like 3 months.
Yeah.
And that's like, what, 60 episodes or something?
Yeah, dude. I mean, when you're hooked on a show like that, you breeze through it because it's much like, is it meth?
Yes.
Yeah, much like the meth that is produced and is it consumed?
It's like inhaled or something. I don't know.
Okay. Much like the meth that is produced and inhaled in Breaking Bad. It's very addictive. I've only heard. So I myself, I think I feel similarly to how you feel, but the scope is a lot smaller. Because I started the show, I think sometime in college. It must have been my freshman year, so it was also 2018. No, 2014. And because I remember I was watching it on my laptop, because I didn't have a TV in college my freshman year. I had a laptop. That's how I watched Daredevil. That's how I watched the Netflix shows. And I started Breaking Bad for the exact reason that you had stated, because there was a lot of hype around it. And at that point, it was fairly new, I think. I don't think it started. I can't remember when it started. I don't know.
What started?
Breaking Bad? You want to look that up?
I think it was like 2009 or something.
That old? I mean, I guess it ended.
Because it ended in like 2013 or something.
Yeah. Yeah, no, you know what it was? I started Breaking Bad because I knew it was ending, and I wanted to see if I could get to the end of the show.
Yeah, 2008 to 2013.
2008 to 2000. Yeah, so that must have been the only reason. And I started doing this with Game of Thrones too. I have desperate FOMO. I have desperate fear of missing out on big, cultural, societal events that specifically is tailored towards music people. And music people. I said music people 3 times. And so now a music person, the music man, perhaps, is going to pop up behind me. And No, so yeah, specifically like music, movies, video games, any sort of like big event I want to be a part of, even if I'm not a fan of the thing that's being promoted, which happens a lot. And when Breaking Bad was about to end, I thought I could breeze through all of this. And I could be a fan, and I could be on board the hype train when the show ends, and I could say, yeah, I watched it live. I watched it when it ended. I got to see all the tweets and all of the Facebook updates and everything, because I just wanted to be a part of something. And I think I got 3-4 episodes in. Whatever the episode is where Walter is in the basement, I don't remember how early in season 1 that is, but he's chained up in the basement.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And then at the end of that episode, when he finally gets out, I was the reason that I cite every time someone asks me about Breaking Bad, I was too emotionally drained, because the end of that episode is very, I don't know, man. I was like tearing up, and I was exhausted because a lot had happened in such a short amount of time. And I remember the last shot was like it was panning out, and it was Walter on the ground in this basement or whatever, and he was just crying. And then the episode like cuts to black. And
That's Crawl Space.
That's Crawl Space?
That's like end of season 4.
Really?
Yes.
Then what was I watching?
That was literally the shot. Because I remember Donkey used it in his Mario Kart video. Yeah, like
maybe
he's laying there, and it's the camera's panning out.
Oh no, it must have been a different basement then, because
Was he bald?
No, he had hair.
Huh.
It was like super early on. So anyway, I was just sitting in my chair staring at a blank like Netflix screen. I was so tired, and I was like, I can't do this. I can't do this. That's why I stopped BoJack Horseman too, because I was like,
this show would actually probably kill you then.
Yeah,
dude,
I've heard it's just a lot of that. I've heard it's just a lot of really stressful and stress-inducing situations.
Dude, yeah. Like I said, everyone, Oh, Face Off. How did I forget Face Off?
With John Travolta
God.
and Nicolas Cage?
No. The episode Face Off, dude. That's what I mean. Like, it's so good at like making cliffhangers too. Like, just like when the episode ends,
yeah,
it ends in like a spot where you want to continue. And then I can imagine when it was airing new weekly,
having to wait.
Yeah, and especially the way season 3 ends. I forget what the episode's called, but the Jesse gun, and then it was like a whole year before season 4 premiered, and I could only imagine how awful it would have been waiting for that next season.
That's the thing about trying to watch shows as they air, is like, I had this revelation with My Hero Academia, because I had, and we have very similar experiences as far as watching it go. We got to binge. For me, it was seasons 1 through 3, and for you, it was seasons 1 through 4. And when it came time to watch the new season as new episodes came out, it sucks, man. It sucks, because it's like you want to continue, like, especially if you started the show binging it. It's such a different experience to have to wait for the next episode. But with anime specifically, and this is the last time that I'll bring up anime for today, I promise. Probably not. But with anime, I immediately turned to like the manga, because it's several, I would say like a season or a season and a half past where the anime is, and then you just get to the same point in the manga. So if Breaking Bad had a manga, which honestly, people who make manga, this is your time to shine. Just say that you were listening to a podcast with a couple of dumb guys, and they said, it'd be a good idea, Breaking Bad manga, and then make it. And so we'll watch it. We'll watch it with our eyes as we read. We'll read it. But yeah, so is Better Call Saul like similar tone wise? Like, because the show's not over yet, so I'm sure there's a lot of story things that haven't completely come full circle. But like, is Better Call Saul in the same kind of tone arena as Breaking Bad, or is it like very different?
It's kind of, because on one half you have the Saul stuff, so it's a lawyer show, but on the other side you have your Gus, Mike, Nacho, like the characters you knew from Breaking Bad.
Yeah.
Like the thing I think is really cool about Better Call Saul is like everyone, literally everyone except like the main cast of characters from Breaking Bad is in this show.
Really?
All these minor characters all come back in Better Call Saul. I think that's really cool.
Well, and I'm just reminded of this. We saw Giancarlo Esposito at C2E2 this past, what was it? Not August. It was in the winter. It was February, maybe?
Or March, something like that.
Something like that. And that was my first exposure to that specific actor, because he plays
Gus Fring.
He plays Gus, yeah. And just hearing him talk about Gus specifically was, one, it was very cool because I'd never been in a room with a professional actor before, like to that degree. But also, I could feel in the room the amount of respect that everyone had for this man and for that character and for all the characters that he's played. So I could imagine one of the biggest decisions when bringing back everyone for Better Call Saul was, well, people still want to see the characters, right? So like,
and they're even talking about making a Gus show.
A Gus show?
About his uprising to power.
I mean, that, as someone who's never seen either show, I think that'd be cool.
Because Better Call Saul, like in the beginning, it's a prequel, obviously, so you see where Saul came from. But Gus, he was still the man we knew from Breaking Bad.
Kind of where he was already.
Yeah. So yeah, they were talking like a rumor about like having his rise to power, because he's like a big part of both these shows.
I mean, that's the thing with big properties is from a business standpoint, it only makes sense to milk it for as long as people are interested. That's why we got the Joey sitcom after Friends. That's why we got Frasier after, what was that, Cheers? And, you know, very, very different sides of the same coin. But hopefully this Gus show turns out well, and not even thinking that far ahead. Hopefully Better Call Saul ends in a really satisfying way.
Yeah, because they showed that Walt and Jesse are coming back.
Yeah,
and I think that's goofy.
I think so too. Because you just let that be a surprise. I understand trying to generate hype for an upcoming episode. And
I don't think you need to generate hype for Better Call Saul, frankly.
Yeah,
I think it's like a Marvel movie. All you got to say it's happening, and you get hyped.
Yeah,
like, do you really even need to see a trailer for it?
No, I think it's doing that well enough on its own. So yeah, maybe this is my sign to get back into Breaking Bad. I'm about to finish the show I'm watching now. So, I don't know, man.
Yeah, we are on the final season of Better Call Saul.
Oh shoot.
3 episodes in as of recording this, and episode 3, something happens, because I don't think this is a spoiler, but like there's characters in Better Call Saul that are not in Breaking Bad, so you know something's gonna happen to these couple of characters.
Oh, I see. So like new characters to Better Call Saul.
Yeah, because it's a prequel show.
Yeah.
So. And it's like, okay, well, none of these people ever show up in Breaking Bad, so what happens to them?
Right.
And we find out what happens to one of them in this 3rd episode. And it was kind of crazy.
Yeah. So, I don't know, man. I think that Breaking Bad is one of those shows that, like Game of Thrones or like, oh man, I don't know, like when we were growing up and not adults, like The Wire was a big show that you hear a lot about. Just like cultural phenomenons that happen every once in a while, and it's like you got to watch that. Stranger Things, same thing. It was like everyone was talking about Stranger Things when it came out.
Or 13 Reasons Why.
13 Reasons Why. Yeah, I succumbed to that too. Like I watched that when it aired.
I actually remember I watched that entire first season in one single day.
How were you okay? Like how, that's a lot to go through in a single day.
That's a good point. I mean, I started really early in the day and it ended very late at night.
Yeah.
And I took breaks in between. but I
You
just
have to.
I guess I was just curious. And man, what a stupid show to like make more. It was like 4 seasons.
Yeah,
I watched the second one, not to get too off topic, but I watched the second season of 13 Reasons Why, and it was so stupid. It was just a big court scene, and every 5 seconds someone was crying, and I was just done with it.
Yeah, well, because the show, the first season at least, is based on a book. Like, it's based on an actual book, and then it was so successful that they went off script and they made something. Apparently season 4 is wild with its concepts and everything that they're trying to do. I guess Clay is being chased by like a cyborg. I don't know if it's a real cyborg, but point of the matter is Breaking Bad, and it seems Better Call Saul is not going down that path of getting really, really ridiculous, and is worth the watch if you haven't, including myself, because I haven't.
Yeah, I would say if you have the time, do yourselves a favor and watch this show.
Yeah.
My goodness.